Bowie, Super Coach, Sunday morning coming to you. And I'm thinking to myself, why would I still exercise on a Sunday? And I think because process and routine absolutely sets me free in all areas. I've got certain objectives, both physical and mental health. So why would I discriminate days? And it got me thinking, process and routine sets you free. And I look at the day yesterday, Saturday, I conducted 4 auctions for clients and I had 100% success rate. I don't say that to impress you. I say that to impress upon you that I stuck to my process, I stuck to my routine, and the outer marketplace, which is interest rates, inflation, cost of living, whatever it might be, is absolutely doesn't exist in my psyche whatsoever. Why? Because actually, as an auctioneer, I have a process which is to call my agents midweek and ask them how they're tracking, ask them, can I add any value? When's your reserve meeting? I'd like to be involved in it. Where are your buyers? What's been the communication? What's the motivation to sell? And then on auction day, I make sure I get there early. I introduce myself to the vendor. I would have already met them or spoken to them leading up to the auction. I introduce myself to the buyers. I ask the agent how I can add any extra value on the day. And then I immerse myself in the negotiation process, not to replace the excellent work the agent's doing, but to complement it. Why? Because I've conducted 3,000 transactions and there is some experience there. So I love sticking to that process. Now, not at any point was I thinking about inflation, interest rates, the war in Ukraine, anything I cannot control. I can only control what my routine and process is as an auctioneer. And if I stick to that, I know that all the time, or the majority of time, properties will sell. So while people are complaining about low clearance rates and reluctant buyers, I stick to my process and achieve 100% clearance rate. Now again, it's not to impress you, it's just to impress upon you the importance of routine and structure and discipline and process, and making sure you stick with all of that, because you can only control what you can control. The uncontrollables will always be there. I've been doing this for 35 years. And if it's not the handful of challenges I've just talked about, it's something else. So these outer marketplace influences will always exist. I'm amazed how agents can sometimes sit there at 2:30 on the first Tuesday of every month, thinking that somehow the decision from the RBA will somehow influence their business. Or they wait for inflation numbers, or they're focusing on clearance rates, how low they are. It's delusional to think that these metrics will somehow affect your business. Are they objectively true? Yes, I understand that. Could they potentially influence the sentiment of buyers and sellers? Yes, I agree with that. But what do they have to do with having a mastery process as an agent, which is very, very simple? We don't have to master 100 things like barristers, surgeons. We only have to master a handful of things, which is to be an outstanding and forensic prospector and making sure you add value with every conversation, and including in that prospecting pipeline sellers, past buyers, past sellers, and your hot list and your hot buys. You do that every day, and that's one thing you've got to master. The next thing you've got to master is when you go to a listing appointment and you've got an opportunity to present, be compelling and comprehensive, provide you unique selling propositions, speak from here rather than here, connect with the person, and don't be desperate around getting the business. Be desperate about adding value, connecting with the client, and the only conversation that is important at the listing is not about price. It's about, am I and is my brand the appropriate agent to represent you? And will I be the agent that you can trust? And will I be the agent that will be the guiding light to link arms with you and take you through this nerve-wracking process to ensure that I over-communicate with you, deliver you 6-star service, and as a result, provide the best possible price in the marketplace? That's what we're here to discuss. So You master prospecting, you master listing, you master vendor management and buyer work, which is just over communicating, being 100% honest, 100% transparent, and be indiscriminate about the type of feedback you provide. If you go and see your doctor, accountant, or lawyer, they are indiscriminate in terms of the news they tell you. They don't just provide you good news, they provide you challenging news. And always they provide a prescription or a solution on top of that. So what does that look like? Your blood test came back. This is what's happened. It's not ideal. However, here's a 30-day plan to make sure that we get on top of it. Your accountant might say, here's a tax issue which has come up. However, I'm going to negotiate with the ATO and we're going to go on a 3-month payment plan and we're going to get this sorted for you. They don't just sit there like deers in a headlight and say, oh, we've got this issue, which for us as agents might be, oh, the market's a little bit challenging, clearance rates are down. It's like, Adrian, I know you'd love to get a certain price, and trust me, I'm the person to achieve it for you if that's the case. As you can see, I've left absolutely no stone unturned. We've been here opening the property twice a week and also 3 private inspections every week as well. The feedback is 5% less than what you'd want it to be. However, let's look at the motivation for you to sell when you first decided to put this property on the market. Was it price driven? No, it was to either achieve a larger home, a smaller home, or move areas, or potentially go to a different state, or even just move towards a school area for you. Okay, let's focus on that for a moment. Can we control what the buyers are thinking? Can we control interest rates? Can we control borrowing capacity? The answer is no. What I can control is making sure that the buyers turn up to auction. I can control that I over communicate with them. I can control that I'm 100% honest and transparent with them. I can control that I'm going to ensure that I dig deep, peel back the onion layers, and identify exactly where they're at on their finance journey, not just ask them, have they got approval? And then I'm going to communicate with you, and then we're going to come up with a strategy on auction day to ensure that we achieve the highest possible market value. Now, if the campaign has been comprehensive like it has been, and if I've worked my absolute butt off and my team has worked our absolute butt off, and the metrics are telling us that the campaign has performed very well from a marketing perspective, because we can tap into REA, domain, social media metrics, so the property hasn't been a secret, then it's impossible to argue that the highest bid on auction day does not represent the appropriate market value for your home. So let's move forward with our lives. We had initial motivation to sell. This is where it's at. Will the market get better or worse? We don't know, but this is what we need to focus on today, because the property's been no secret, and it's not like if we pass it in at auction that there's 3 people hiding around the corner waiting to offer 20% more. Not a reality. So I'm here to help you, but I'm also here to be very forward with you and honest and transparent with you to ensure that you don't make a mistake, because last year we saw a lot of owners who didn't accept market value at auction and regretted it, and then have been chasing the market down. I don't want you to fall into that category. I want you to move forward with the rest of your plans for your life, and that was the original reason we put the property on the market. So forensic vendor management, forensic buyer work, and then come up with a marketing plan for yourself like any business, because you're not an agent, you're not a principal, you are a business. And if you're a business, then you must have a marketing budget. 5% of your forecasted income divided by 12, presto, there's your marketing budget. And focus on areas that you're passionate about and that you know you can get cut through on. So control the controllables, focus on the inner marketplace, forget the outer marketplace. And again, I don't say this to impress you, but to impress upon you. My personal team also sold 2 properties this week. One was before auction, one was after auction. Why? They've got a process, and that's a model for 100 sales a year. So there's success leaves clues. God bless. Always live with virtue, and I look forward to seeing you next time.